Welcome to Launch Code, a premier business podcast, starring Evan Hafer, Matt Best, and Jared Taylor.
Yeah!
All right.
Welcome to episode 100 of the Launch Code podcast.
100.
Which I have not been on for a while, and I'm excited. This is Matt Best talking, since you don't remember my voice in the podcast.
Bartholomew Best.
Bartholomew. Matthew A. Best. Mab is my initial.
Alfred.
Albert. That's your middle name.
It is not.
Yeah.
You can say it's... Yeah, sure.
Douglas.
Yeah. Helps me out
Douglas.
for stolen identity.
They called you on the Southwest flight the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were like, Evan Douglas. Hey, Hafer. I said, he bitched out.
Bitched
They go,
out.
excuse me? Bitched out.
Yeah.
Mary Beth got one of those the other day. It was like, Mary Beth, please come to... And she was like, you forgot
Oh my
something. She's like, I
God.
don't think I forgot anything. Forgot her laptop.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I was like, man, I don't know how they got your name, but that's a big loss if you lose that thing, man.
Yeah. Well,
Which
I mean,
is...
And everything's kind of in the cloud now, you know?
I never update my phone to the cloud. Anyways,
well,
let's get into some
episode 100 is BRCC in review, right?
Yeah.
I think that's great.
Where are we now?
Let's
Where
deep
are
dive.
we now?
We should start off with the question from the live feed on Drinking Bros, which was, what is the most rewarding or impactful thing that you think the company has done? Let's get the CEO's perspective first.
Well, I think you could answer that question in several ways, several fold. So I think one of the big impacts that we've had outside of the company is just the influence on other veteran entrepreneurs. I hear that over and over and over again, every day in every form of DM, whether that's on Instagram or LinkedIn or Facebook. Thank you for what you guys do, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. It's like, thank you for starting a business, but
With the way that we live, though, I've noticed this with all of us. Like we do our thing here as much as we can. We have to travel when we have to travel, and then we're back here. We were like in this closed loop. But when you go out to these things, like I did this weekend in LA at the American Legion, the amount of people that were just coming up, shaking hands, asking for pictures, and telling these stories of how we somehow affected them. Mm-hmm. It's like we forget that number's real.
yeah,
That 1.5 million people seeing something. That's a decently sized city, let alone 15 million people seeing something. What does it look like when just your Instagram following is in a stadium? You and I looked this up the other day. It was like you would fill like the stadium in Michigan with your Instagram following. Well,
I think that's a whole nother subject too. 'Cause I think people often don't realize that numbers equate to people and an individual specific. So like, I saw some social media guy talking about it, but it is true. Like if you have, let's just say 10,000 followers, people are like, oh, I don't have a lot of followers. Like that's 10,000 people that are subscribed to your messaging and narrative, that they're curious to see what you're going to say.
And they selected that.
And they selected that.
Right.
And that is a massive amount of people. And I think the internet as a whole doesn't understand, to include myself, how much, for good or bad, you can persuade people and inspire people to do things. And I think that is my takeaway too. I never realized that, just wanting to make people laugh and providing them with what I think we hold things to such a high standard, we forget. And we've talked about that before, about celebrating wins and how important that is as a company to actually take a step back and create, hey, good job, guys. Because there for a while we were knocking videos and doing all this stuff, and it's like, it's not good enough, and you can continually try to be better than your last, which we'll always think that way. But it's pretty cool to think that people got inspiration from what we've done to hopefully go create their own businesses in that. And there's hopefully success outside of our goal to do these 10,000 veteran hires, to have people that create 7 jobs in their small business and hire the people that they want and create the company that they want. I think it's really cool.
and I've heard it from other business owners of much bigger companies that already have thousands of employees. Like, oh, you guys said it. You guys said it. You guys put that goal out. You know what? We can do it too. Like this small company can, literally say, this is what we're going to try to do, you know what, we'll try to do that too. And that's the force multiplying effect of just going out and being authentic and transparent, trying to affect people in a positive way. The content, the marketing and everything else aside, we've been able to build a company and hire a lot of people and do it in a very unique way that's not only been helpful and beneficial inside the company, because I think that we've created a positive ecosystem for people to work in, that they enjoy coming to work for Black Rifle. And outside of the company, we've been able to impact veteran entrepreneurs, I think, in a much bigger way, just based on social media. And I think from, not only creating a great workplace as an individual, the greatest takeaway that I think that I have is, and it always comes back to this. And even if you lose sight of it, it's we get to come to work. I was just on a podcast yesterday and I was talking about this. Like I get to come to work with you guys every day, and I think we don't value that as much as we probably should, because there are a lot of people that go to work every day and they don't like the people that they work with. Whereas like we go to work and we're like, these are my business partners. They're just also my best friends. No big deal.
Yeah, but it's also
how many Jared over there.
How many people
Matt
in the country wish that they could work with him?
But I don't think it's just me. I don't think it's about us,
I know,
right? It's about
saying, like,
creating that environment where like you're fucking stoked to wake up in the morning. Like, and you're right. I've had to check myself on that, where I'm like fucking this and fucking that, and then I realize I'm excited to get in my truck and leave my home to go work a 12+ hour day. Like,
I know.
Fuck, I am one fortunate motherfucker, and I think people have to be in that mentality that they have the ability to create that in their own life. Like, maybe not now, but you can create the proper processes and implement them in your own life and hobbies to hopefully slowly, maybe you're selling a shirt or some software, and then that turns into your day job. Sure, it's going to be the most hardworking thing you've ever done, but you're not going to have that fucking dickmo ass boss that you hate and show up to a place that you don't, like their value system. And it's fucking cool. And you have to check yourself every day and be like, oh man, we're super fortunate, and this is great.
Yeah, we're lucky actually. There's a lot of things.
A lot of luck. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of luck. One is, we found each other, which is not. It sounds kind of romantic and it's serendipity, but no, there's so many business partnerships where it's so ugly. It's like nuclear. I mean,
like
there's no
left or right,
going fucking back, right?
You could have. You could have fucking been with the Merritts in the beginning or something like that. I mean, there was this weird window where it just all worked out and we lined up and we met. Like, you could have launched off with Twist Rate and ended up pinning to somebody else.
Oh, yeah.
Whether it's Ranger Up or Nine Line or Grunt Style, like anybody. Like,
well, and I had approached some of those guys back in the day too.
So I was approached and approached other people too. Mm-hmm. But that's a good perspective to have, I think, in business. It's just like never burn a bridge. Always leave the bridges open, so at least you have a good understanding of where the traffic and the maneuvering is, and then you'll kind of find your way. Like, oh man, okay, this is success, but success isn't necessarily defined by monetary gain. Happiness is a huge component of my life. Like, I would rather make 20 times less money and be severely happy than make a gajillion dollars and be fucking miserable. Certain people want that because they base their life off material component things, but I'm just not that guy. So like, I want happiness, and that's why like I stuck to certain people during this whole thing, and it's been challenging over the years. I mean, business partners we fought, not us necessarily, but I've fought with a lot of business partners, disagreed heavily. They wanted to go one direction, I wanted to go another, but you kind of find the people that are your tribe and just stick to them and then put the fucking work in.
Well, it's a lot like a marriage, right?
100%.
And I think we've talked about this a lot, where business partners and marriages fail. Like they fail. And huge percentages of marriages fail, huge percentages of business partners fail. That doesn't mean that both people in that failing marriage or business partnership they're bad people. It just means they were bad together.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bad partnership.
It's a bad partnership. It's a bad mix. It boils down to effective communication, I think, and respecting other people's position. But at the end of the day, you do have to kind of decide, is this the person that I want to be in business with for forever?
I think it also boils down to effort too. If you really break it down, like marriages, a lot of marriages fail because one just stops the effort.
Yeah.
To put in the time, and that's the same way with business partners. You have some that just stop the effort or are putting the effort too much into things that are not in line with the strategic mission set or where you're going with the business.
Well, and I think that's where we've been able to meet and focus acutely on a mission of building something that we'll have forever, not where we're going to get together, we're going to try to like make a bunch of money. And I think that's probably, people have a misconception as to what this actually takes. And not to go on some kind of negative diatribe whatsoever. We have held to the mission of building something that will be around for our lifetime, right? And you have to reinvest in your company, and you have to continue to reinvest your profit into your company and incorporate new business partners and grow. And all of these things take investment. They take intellectual capital. They take your capital. They take everything. But I see a lot of companies where they're basically just doing a smash and grab type atmosphere where they're like, hey, I'm going to make fucking 30 grand, bro.
As
I'm
fast as
fucking
you
out
can,
as
and
fast as I
then
can.
yeah.
It's like, yeah, man, but if you were to roll $28,000 of that 30,000 back into your business, there's the potential for that money to continue to make you money, way more money, right? So you just continue to reinvest. And we've never really argued over that. Like nobody here at this table has said,
No, I
need to take more money off the table, man.
A perfect example of that was, I think, first year of the business when there was a potential like, hey, we could potentially put a couple grand in each of our pockets, or do we want to invest in a roaster? Everybody was like, the roaster, you fucking idiot. Everybody. And it was like, yeah. And I think that would be a quick cash grab. We're like, oh, I can make a couple extra $1,000 here, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, no, let's put that back into the company. And it's obviously paid off.
That's what it was. And I think we had $150,000. I remember that very, very acutely. That's what it was. And we were talking about
what do we do with it?
What do we do? And then I brought it up to everybody and I said, these are the things that we can do. We can invest it in a new roaster, which was literally $148,000, or we can distribute it and we can do something else. And everybody was like, no, absolutely. We need a new roaster. We've got to buy it. Let's make the investment. But that is a perfect example of a road that could have turned left or right in this company based on one partner saying, absolutely not. We need to fucking distribute. Fuck you. Like for even bringing up another option.
Right.
But all of us were like, no, uniformly, no,
Yep.
we got to invest in the company. And I think the other piece to that is the execution on that. So if that would have been an abysmal failure, like if we would have taken that money and not been able to turn it into an effective roasting mechanism that ultimately saved the
us
company
money,
that would have been a point where you guys would have probably started to say, you know what, I don't know if this is worth it for us to continue to grow the company and reinvest it, or I could have said that. So there are a lot of decisions, and really when you have a goal or a mission, there are so many decisions that have to happen, even within the course of a day or a week or a month, let alone 2 years since we've done a podcast about Black Rifle. And think about how much we've learned in the last 2 years.
When we did this show, we were in the
This
blue.
is fucking crazy.
We were
how
in the
much
blue
we've
room
learned. Yeah.
in the very back
Yeah. Of our new building.
of the brand new building, the first room I painted.
And that's a good talking point too. It's like you have to be eager to learn, because like you can define yourself by a title. And back when I was the CEO of Article 15 Clothing, I was like, man, I'm a CEO, and I could have walked around like a big dick. We're doing well, and I thought I had a small grasp on business. Fast forward 2 years where I'm at today. man, I still don't know fuck all. And I really had to, I remember I had to check my ego on that, because it's like how much I've learned in the last 2 years. Are just like, holy fuck, I still have these. There's people that have 25 years of supply chain management, logistics, and operations that could fucking run circles and then torch the ground I walk on. So like the core competency component of that is being a good leader, good manager, knowing when to check your ego is like something I really learned, because you know, you can say you're a CEO, that doesn't mean you're a fucking CEO. No, you actually have to get a grasp on the pulse of the business, empower and employ people in their core competencies that are going to bring overall success to the company, and manage them properly and maintain the ecosystem culture that you want. That's the whole position of being a partner, where it's one of the most proud moments I have here at Black Rifle is like, we could have taken easy outs for more money. There's, you know, people that have always tried to influence us throughout, you know, Matt's too wild. Don't be a partner with him, Evan. He's fucking too crazy. He makes these jokes. And we've always had that true loyal mentality towards each other. We're like, we're going to figure this out, because if Matt's too aggressive, I'll tell him he's aggressive and we'll cut it down. Or you made a bad decision. You just have to have the humility in it. And thankfully we didn't take out like exterior influence, because it would have drastically changed the course of this company. And it would have been, let's just be a complete for-profit, where now we're like, man, maybe we'll slow growth, but then we can give back more. We can do these things that really help us sleep well at night. And maintaining that pulse is probably the most proud that I've been. And honestly, like, we can still say fuck. We can still make aggressive jokes in the internet. No one tells us we define our future and our destiny with this thing. And it's a really proud moment for me, because
yes, the climate here is,
everybody's tried to change that. And we said, no, man, we're going to do what the fuck we want. You're on board or you're not. Like, that's the way this works. And I'd rather be a smaller company and say what the fuck I want and be hyper transparent for our customers, so they know when they're fucking buying this product, this is truly what we believe in, rather than some fucking PC bitch ass fucking corporate entity that just will do anything, sway left or right, just to fucking appease the mass customers so they don't fucking shave a half point off. Like, fuck that shit. I never want to be in there, and if it won't get that, but I wouldn't participate in that. And I'm super proud that everybody is on board with what we're doing.
Well, I think that speaks well to the entire ecosystem of non-politically correct, and that culture of being non-politically correct. It's difficult, and we've known that. We've known that for 2+ years.
Yeah.
And when we set out to define the culture of the company and then continue to hire and put people in positions in a company that's non-politically correct, that's a difficult endeavor, because we're in a hyper-litigious society with opportunists that short-term opportunists. And, you know, we've had multiple people tell us, well, we can't do something, or it's not right, or it's not PC. And it's like, hey, man, this is our company. We're going to do it the way that we want to do it. We've been told so many times, it's not even possible for us to be doing what we're doing. People will look at it and be like, you guys can't do that. There's no way you guys can do that. And it's like, well, we're doing it, dumb fuck. So maybe we're doing something right. And the more people that we pull in, leads me into my point, hiring people into the company and hiring the right cultural fits. I've made a lot of mistakes in 4+ years of this company. I've made a lot of hiring mistakes. I don't think I could stress this enough, is one, do background checks on your employees. Like, make sure they are who they
say they are.
Yeah. And reference check their resumes against people.
But yeah, proper reference checks, because I've eaten that on quite a few where you're given this epic portfolio and general references. And
right.
If you deep dive into them, and we have a pretty cool process, especially for C-level and executives, but like, you get to know the people that loved them and the people that hated them. And then it's up to you as a manager and a leader to make the best decision forward. Whereas before, it's like, of course you're going to call a reference and be like, oh, this fucking dude's awesome.
Yeah.
He works nonstop. And then like complete, you know, the antithesis of what they are, you know?
Yeah.
Well, so when we've been calling, we call references, and then people that they recommend we call too.
Right.
So that's kind of a wild card where you can kind of drive down the rabbit hole on references.
Good word.
We've made a lot of mistakes throughout 4 years. I would say the biggest mistakes I've made are hiring wrong people, the wrong people. And there's like this old saying that's been around in business for a long time. It's hire slow, fire fast.
Right.
And you really have to remind yourself of that almost every day. And I think we get better at it as we get a little bit more mature in business and we continue to grow and develop, but it cannot be understated that is an absolute.
I think fire fast is often misrepresented. Like, I think there has to be consistent, proper documentation across the board with an employee that's
following policy,
like, and having a good HR policy. So people that are held accountable, documented that they were held accountable in a proper professional forum, and then having that documentation, so if the time comes, you're not just being fucking demolished by this outlandish cash grab fucking litigious society that we live in.
Right.
Well, so in our first episode of this, look at what the business looked like at that point. We had fulfillment in-house.
Yep.
We were outsourcing or partner roasting down the street. We were printing out of California.
Yep.
But what does that look like now?
We print 99% of everything in-house.
Print in-house. We
roast
bought our own print
90% of what we, and when I say, our single serves, our K-cups and stuff like that, we don't roast that. But the bagged coffee, beaned, and whole
two roast facilities.
Well, we develop the roast profiles and hold them to a massive QC process, but obviously we don't have the investment capital right now.
Yeah, but we have two
K-cups.
roast locations now.
Fuck yeah, man. Growing too.
Tennessee and Salt Lake. We've got three major shops.
Well, yeah,
Provo, Salt Lake, Savannah.
We have been
Vegas
building and expanding for 2 years. We've been doing nothing but building and expanding for 2 years. We went from a facility that was basically empty. We filled that facility with machines and people. Then we expanded, got into a new roasting facility. Yeah. I think that's a lot of people are like, well, you guys moved out of Salt Lake. No, we did. We didn't shut Salt Lake down.
No.
We actually hired people in Salt Lake, and then we hired more people in Nashville, and then we hired more people in San Antonio. Yeah. So we expanded our roast facilities to just outside of Nashville in Manchester.
With big dreams. There's another about 6 slots for massive roasters that when I see there, I can just put it in my head and go, there they are. They're going to be there.
There they are. They're going to be there. And it's been like a fucking pirate crew, man. Like people don't know, and I think it's super interesting if they knew the kind of shit that we were going into and doing. We bought this building in Salt Lake, and it was 38,000 square feet on 3 acres right off the interstate. It was a former mining specialists, like with equipment manufacturing. And they kind of screwed us. They took the address with them, and I didn't think that was a big deal. I was like, hey, you guys can fucking have the address. I don't care. Well, then the city looked at us as a new building. And so we had to go through like all kinds of like chains of use and like all this crazy crap because they took the address.
Oh, wow.
But while we were doing that, we also bought $100,000+ in T-shirt printing
we
equipment.
bought the T-shirt print shop.
Set it up, and the guy that we had hired to do that was failing at his job back there, but we didn't know enough about T-shirt printing to understand whether or not he was failing or succeeding. Yeah. We had to hire somebody else to come in and run the T-shirt facility, and finally that thing turned around, but it took us almost
a long time.
Yeah, it almost took us a year to turn that thing around to where it was
get it really going.
Yeah, to where it was working.
Yeah, quality,
at
consistency,
the
and
same exact time though. The roasting division's being developed.
Yeah, the new roaster that we put in that would expand our capabilities and increase our profitability so we could turn our profits into growth. We bought that roaster from like they were
They had it in a
they were
warehouse
Caribbeans out in Connecticut.
Yeah.
We sent Edwin and Rob out to go get that, and they were like holding it hostage. We were basically negotiating with them on the spot, telling them we're not actually leaving the facility until you turn over the roaster. And they what they were trying to do, what we figured they might have been trying to do, was actually get the wire and then bounce.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they were like, the guys were out there, and I'll say this about Ed, was like, we're not fucking leaving until we have full possession. And they were like, you have 8 hours, something like that, to load all of the equipment, or we're going to slide the door shut, lock it, and call the police because you guys will be breaking and entering on our property. And we're like, fuck. So we bought like roasters, and they had forklifts, and they briefed us going out there that these things were all like brand new. And so these guys get out there and like, it's not brand new, dude. Like, this forklift is like fucking purging hydraulic fluid and like this
rusted and
yeah. But I'd crunch the numbers on it. I was like, it's still a great deal. Like, if the roaster works, you got to leave there with that roaster. And plus, at that point, they had $75,000 worth of our money.
Right.
So we were like, okay, check the roaster. Does it work? Yes. Okay, load that shit up. Let's go. And they loaded it up and got it back to Salt Lake. And it's interesting because when we started offloading that, we're like, because it was a big piece of equipment. It was a massive industrial piece of equipment. Once again, everybody said we couldn't do it. Everybody was like, you'll never be able to get that thing to run. Like, quite literally, I heard it multiple times.
Yeah, I remember.
It's like, you guys aren't going to be able to get the thing to run. It's not going to work. It's not going to fit in that space. We're like, fuck you. We'll get it to run. And my dad came in. My dad came in and was like, oh yeah, we'll just bolt that thing to the floor and turn it on. Fuck yeah, that thing will roast coffee. Hell yeah.
Yeah, well, fuck it.
And
just bolt it to the floor and turn it on.
And it was like a super piratey operation. Like, we were not fucking around.
If you think about this, you manufactured everybody that was in that roastered facility. None of them had experience.
Well, Ed did.
Yeah, Ed did.
Yeah. But not on a large scale.
When you take Matt and everybody else that was in there roasting, they were all created. They were built coffee experts.
Yeah, but that's the whole like investment in personnel. Like, do you have the work ethic to learn? Yes.
Do you have the want to learn?
Here's a probat specialist that's coming in and fucking giving you the end all to how to fucking make the greatest roast profile ever, and then we fucking tailor it to our needs. Well, not me, because I don't do the roast profiles. But yeah. It's pretty cool because those are lifelong skills that a lot of those people learned in there. Which I want to give credit to the people that have been along this journey with us, man. We have some of the most hardworking, loyal fucking, I would say employees, but just team members here that are so fucking great. I just want to put that on the podcast. Like, some of these guys, like, they work their living asses off. They treat this company as their own, which you don't seldomly see in any freaking professional environment. And they put the company in front of themselves just because they believe in the mission. And I'm just truly fucking thankful, #Thanksgiving, for the epic team that we have and the work ethic that they're a part of. So thank you guys so much.
Yeah, and think about all the impossible shit that we're just like, don't worry about it, guys. We'll figure it out, And it's like, we put these things called Alaskan hangers in the back 40 of our facility, and people were like, "This is fucking crazy, man. You're never gonna be able to get them things up." And I was like, "Buy these Alaska hangers and fucking build them back there."
Welding them to shipping containers.
And Matt Leviner was like, "Holy crap, man! I don't know how to do this." I'm like, "You'll figure it out, man. Put that shit up. It's like it's a big tent, and it sits in between two shipping containers, and it's this like 30-foot high." Tent basically, and because we worked it out. We needed storage, and we didn't have enough storage, and I was like, well, we can buy these things for like $5,000, have them shipped down here, we can build them and we own our storage, or we can try to like build something that would cost us like $50,000 at least. So it's like I just did the cost benefit analysis and it was like, do you guys think you could build it? Thank God they said yes. Yeah, we can build that. It's not a big deal, dude. We'll get it done. Talking to Matt and Ed yesterday, I was down in their office and we were just like shooting the shit about this podcast. And they're like, dude, we didn't know what the fuck we were doing, but you know what? We got it done. And I was like,
that's the military mindset. Like, well, we were given a shit sandwich. Let's make it like I don't know, a better sandwich.
Yeah, let's put some cheese on it, put it in the microwave.
We'll call it a day.
Yeah, some ketchup, we're good to go.
Yeah.
You know, it comes with all this shit sandwich, some cheese and ketchup. It'll fix it right up.
We bring Crumb out of renovation retirement.
Yeah.
Like where he literally told us no less than like 10 times, I'm not going to take this project on, but I'll give you some advice. And then then he comes back to me one day. He's got the drawings in his hand. He goes, I don't know how you do it, man. I don't know how you do it, but Evan had me in there and I'm telling him, I'm giving him some advice. And now I just signed up to build you a fucking coffee shop.
And a great job he did. That coffee shop looks great and it's expanding now.
Yeah.
We're building out the retail footprint in Salt Lake City.
They're expanding right now?
There's plans for it. They're just a matter of when they can get the permits to do construction.
Right. Well, and I think that's been like the last 4 years. We've basically said it's better to ask for forgiveness than to ask for permission, and we just continue to do it. I mean, when we had our own fulfillment in house, we had 23 people at one point working in fulfillment. The guys that were running the fulfillment center had no previous fulfillment center backgrounds. Yeah. And we were charging through several thousand orders a week, taping boxes and, shipping stuff out. And we were negotiating our own shipping rates and doing all kinds of stuff that nobody had ever done before, by the way.
What is it? Is that 2 years ago now where we did an all hands for about 4 days?
2 Christmases.
And all of us were...
Yeah.
Taping boxes, checking orders. That was a fun time. It was cool to see everybody. You had everybody from the CEO down to
that was next
whomever,
to
working their asses off. And a lot of those guys are
think of the people that are still around.
Most of them.
Like you got
OG,
Scott, you got Mod, you got Bert, you got like all these people that are still around.
Yeah,
the Lee and Matt, like.
Yeah, Lee and
How
Matt.
many different hats have they worn?
Well, that's the
Dude,
brilliance of it.
they keep getting better.
Divisions,
They just keep getting better.
They excel at their job, and then they're offered a higher position, and they come in and crush it there. It's the professional development that you'd want people to participate in. Like you got to keep growing. I think that's what you have to do as a partner too. Like if we acted how we did 4 years ago, this thing would dirt nap. It's just you got to consistently be better, consistently learn, and just fucking shoot for the fucking stars because you'll hit the mountain at least or something.
A lot of this is just crazy stupidity too. We're just like, yeah, we'll figure it out. Who gives a shit? It's like a little bit of ego,
crazy
ego stupidity.
This,
just like, yeah, we'll figure it out. I don't care. Let's go.
It can't be that hard.
It's calculated risk. It's calculated risk.
I've said this. This was, we had to muscle our way through a lot of decisions that we had no experience making. And then it's like when you finally have a healthy business where you can afford somebody that has experience in that position, like our CFO now, and he looks right away and goes, oh, why'd you do this? You could do this. You're like, yeah, see, we didn't know that.
Yeah, we didn't know that.
And it took us a while to afford you.
Are you still on QuickBooks? Hey, just go ahead and fix
is that your ledger right there? Are you manually writing this down?
Well, and I'll tell you, even like some of the things that we neglected, right? I mean, we neglected some of those things early on. It'll come back to haunt you in some ways, which is we didn't know anything about HR.
No,
and that one was hard, and it still is. It's still hard to navigate that, and you have to find the right people to place in those positions. Our first health insurance policy that we activated company-wide was a failure across the board.
Yeah.
We couldn't even go get treatment, but we kept working at it and hired more people and continued to work to the point where we brought in more specialists, people that were competent, and they fixed it. Our finance division was outsourced to a company that was
an acting
failing,
CFO essentially.
Failing, like big fat fucking F.
Oh, terrible.
And just terrible. I mean, I can't even give you guys a worse recommendation for preferred CFO out of Salt Lake City. They are trash, by the way. So steer clear of that company, and there is no liability in that because ultimately it is a client recommendation. And what is my experience, which is big fat F. And so I'll give them an F right back. Horrible company to work with. So when we worked through a lot of these challenges in the last 2 years since we've done our last update on the company, we've grown the company 4 times.
4x, yeah.
4x in not only employees, but the amount of professional capability that we have,
Well, I think that's something that we didn't maybe fully understand back then, where it was like growth over foundation, and then we got to a point where like, well, we can't keep growing because the wheels will fall out from under us. Like we have to have this fucking foundation. We need fucking 4x4. We got to like really put this in, slow the growth process, and then reevaluate. Okay, now we're good, because you don't want to hire people and then see them fail because of we didn't have the infrastructure to support their positions. And I think we're at a point now where we're almost there. And there's so many things in the inner workings that we can't say that are going on right now as far as growth strategies that we can't make public, but I think are fucking going to be so rewarding. They're going to speak to our mission statement. They're going to be epic things that they're in the works. And there's a lot of shit that goes on behind the scenes that we don't put out there, because I feel like sometimes we can't say how much good we're doing, because then it's self-infatuating. We look like yay, look at us, we're doing this fucking really cool shit. And like,
if it's an episode once a year, I think we can tell people what kind of shit we're doing.
Fair enough. Well, certain things, I don't think like partnerships and all of that, we can't really divulge at this point, but
yeah, we've actually, not only the fact that we've hired, and I think we've inspired a lot of other companies to do a lot more veteran hiring. I sit on the Veterans Administration Small Business Association subcommittee, which I think is a big deal. We've been very impactful across the United States. I mean, I sat down with the CEO of Starbucks and talked straight up veteran hiring.
How do we get people
hired? How do we get people hired?
Well, I think that's a misconception there, where there's
more effective
polarizing left and right there. Like, we may disagree with their political affiliation and belief system, and that's fine, but what supersedes all of that? The mission of empowering and employing veterans. So like, you took that meeting while I did something else, and you sat down like a fucking man. Like, how do we get more jobs for the men and women that have served this country? And I think that's a huge fucking ego check, because I think there's a lot of people that would listen to this, be like, man, fuck those dudes. Like, that's fine. Like, I disagree fundamentally with their approach to politics
to do stuff.
But if they can hire a dude that got out at 21 and help him transition to the civilian sector, awesome. Now, that's not to say I want to turn around and fucking snatch that job and have him work at Black Rifle, where he's like, nope, this is the company I want to work for right here at BRCC. But you gotta take the battles you can win, and the war we're fighting right now is employing veterans. That's what we really want to do. And that goes along with like a lot of the charitable stuff we're doing. I sit in the honorary board of directors for the Warrior's Heart, and I'm like, one of the proudest things I've ever done. And that organization is doing so much. I helped set up the meeting between them and Boot Campaign, which is another phenomenal organization to fucking, rehab veterans. And they're actually taking these guys that are substance addicted, taking them out and getting brain scans through the Boot Campaign. You guys got to check out both organizations. They're actually telling them on like the smallest level what, like, you're disposed to being an addict, and this is how we fix it, because your TBI is playing with your brain this way. They get them fucking fixed. They send them back to this rehabilitation program, and then that organization is actually helping them like get another job and not be an addict. And they have a super high success rate. And those are a lot of things like off the map that we don't put out there, but I truly believe, and this is just my opinion, like helping the individual. I think there's so many organizations out there that they put Band-Aids on fucking chopped off legs. And I'm like, sure, you're slowing the bleeding, man, but the consequence of that is you're going to bleed out. I would prefer to put a tourniquet. Let's get this guy in fucking rehab. Let's fix him. Because a lot of these guys, like, they're not just like whomever. Like, there's guys in this organization that are like 20-year Delta Force fucking veterans. And then we just shit on them like, good luck. Good luck fucking 13 deployments later. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, fuck you.
Well, this also comes back to this lunacy idea of what he brings up. War is one of the most just horrendous things that you can ever experience, and you can't, if you want someone that's good at war, he's gonna be fucking a little fucked up.
Yeah, you have to compartmentalize.
He has to
yeah.
fucking switch his head over and go, I am going to kill other humans. And then for us to just think that a fucking 1 week course right before you get out and you're handed your medical records is okay, we are extremely fucking naive at that point of, wait, what?
Right, and that's part of the whole infrastructure thing. I think that business is directly correlated to that as well. Like you have to build the infrastructure, and infrastructure that works. You can't just be like, I'm doing this to help these guys out. Sure, but again, Band-Aid on an amputee, it doesn't fucking work in the long run. And that's why we really try to partner with these organizations where you see a guy that is no clothes, he's a fucking meth addict, and he's ready to put a pistol in his mouth. Like 6 months later, he's got a job at Home Depot, he's got clothes, he rekindled his relationship, and he sees his kids again. I'm like, that's the success that I want to fucking see people have. And part of Black Rifle's mission is to help that transition piece that I fucking dealt with, and then also the guys that just went far off the rockers and reel them back in and give them opportunity to see what happiness is again. Because when you compartmentalize war for so long, you're fucked up. I mean, I think we've all probably dealt with it. I've fucking done my own shit where you're like, you have to put it so deep down, and it comes up sometimes. You're like, fuck all this, I don't give a fuck. I'll just smash TVs and do whatever the fuck I want. And you kind of have to train your brain again. Realistically, you have to train your brain to like, okay, I got to be a little bit normal again.
Well, and I think that's why when we first started the company and we continued to hire people, why that was so important. It still is really important, which is having that as a soft transition from the military culture to a very military-centric culture of Black Rifle Coffee. And I've tried to explain this to a lot of people where they're like, well, there's a lot of companies out there that hire vets. I'm like, yeah, but they have 2 to 3% of their workforce that are vets. Like it's not a veteran-dominated culture where civilians have to adapt to our form of culture here. It's not reverse.
And you can rope that full circle when we're talking about how we're stoked to come into work and work with our best friends. And like, I'll put you in this position right now. Can you imagine having to go to work not in this capacity? And that's what most people are doing. They don't understand it. They don't have it. And it's like, that's the opportunity I want to give, where people are fucking motivated and they can resonate with other people. They can share a war story on their lunch break and be like, I don't know why, that just made me feel better to get that out today. Like that is what's so special about this to me, because I don't know where I would be if I didn't have this. I would be lost as fuck. I'd probably just be some internet douchebag like I already am. But alone, you know what I'm saying? It'd be very, very, very challenging for me, especially with like how crazy my brain works.
Yeah, I don't know where I would be. I don't think that I would have transitioned out of, what I was doing. I probably would have, I hate to say it, I probably would have been just a fucking mercenary type person. Like,
I would
really
probably be in recruiting.
I would have
I'd
probably been
be
like
working for Air Force recruiting.
I'd still be contracted, and for sure I would have never given the gun up. And there's nothing wrong with that, but the level of life that I've been able to live post fucking 10 months overseas a year, like, man, I actually like get to know what it's like to wake up, consistently at a home and be with somebody that I appreciate, like, my wife. It's like, those are the special moments you forget, and you almost you don't allow yourself to have them because you've told yourself, that's just not me. I don't fucking need that. That's pussy shit. But then you actually kind of come back and you're like, oh, I can actually be joyful and happy. And I'm super thankful for all the service that I did. But then at the same time, I kind of want to go experience another chapter and another perspective on life. And, you can only do it for so many years. That's the way I look at it, because it's why there's I think that there's a pretty high, mental health risk with people that retire after like 25 years out of the military, because it's all they've known, and they go from like sergeant major to, Home Depot low level employee, and they're like, they can't direct people, they can't communicate, effectively, and that's super fucking challenging.
Well, I think they're institutionalized. I think that's part of the issue.
Of course,
and
they have to be, though.
Well, yeah, you have to be. It's not a negative thing. It's you've worked within a subculture in a professional organization that's kind of corporate in some regards, but not really. It's a very different environment. And that's where I think this is a military-centric ecosystem that's dominated by the personalities within the company that were military. It really is. And not only us, I mean, the other people that have, like the directors and the other employees in the company that are military. So the civilians have to adapt themselves to a more military-centric ecosystem, which it's one of the greatest things about the company is people coming, transitioning out of the mill. And we've heard it from like Justin and a bunch of other guys that have come over recently. Like, man, it's fucking great, dude. I can drop the fucking F-bomb. I can be as like kind of crazy because I'm a little bit fucking crazy. I can be crass. Yeah. And you guys don't, it's not that we don't care. It's just, we don't even think about it. It doesn't even register on a radar.
How do you treat the people left and right to you? Do you have that brother and sisterhood? Are you treating them with reverence? And then does the mission come first? It's the same thing. Like whatever diversified background you come into the military, like the mission comes first. And like we always say, there's no racism in a firefight. Like I love saying that line. It's the truth. Like I'm here just to make sure my brothers and sisters stay alive, and that's the community we built here. Like all this fucking hyper PC bullshit where people are getting sensitive. Fuck all that, man. Let's just treat each other right, treat each other with honor and respect, and then the mission comes first.
Well, I think that's the big one, right? Where it's how do we treat people with respect and dignity, but also make sure that in this hyper politically correct culture, and I think it's such a culture shock definitely for the warfighters coming out and transitioning. It's such a fucking culture shock that it causes an additional layer of psychological stress because they're trying to fit in and almost mask who they are and their personalities. And that's a very difficult thing to do versus coming in and saying, damn, dude, I am who I am. Let's go.
Yeah, you are. Everybody's different, man. You should live your life to the fullest as long as it doesn't impact other people's health and welfare negatively. It's a fucking pretty easy concept if you
really
open
is.
The book, man. It's like, oh, it's pretty simple.
And this hyper politically correct society that we live in is so detrimental, I think, to evolution. It just, not on a diatribe on this, but when you're hiring people and building a culture in a company, it's not only the outward-facing aspects of the company that are not politically correct. When we are in board meetings and everything else, we're not politically correct. Like we drop fucking F-bombs.
I'm in sandals and a tank top usually.
Yeah, and and we've been at tables with guys that are very corporate, like very corporate entities.
But what's the response that we get them at every time? You guys are the most fun company I've ever worked with.
Yeah, we drag them to our level.
But
have you noticed that?
It's the most confusing thing in society that I can't fucking put my finger on. That people succumb to this construct that they have to be lames all the time, and then they hang out with like a company like ours. Like it's so fun, it's invigorating. You guys are scrappy, you're fun. I'm like, well, why aren't you guys that way?
Right.
Like that's what you want to do. Do it.
Do it.
As long as like it comes back to the respect and dignity thing, like you're not trashing people, you're not doing that. As long as you're respect and dignity and some empathy and sprinkled on there, like, all right, man, then like let's go fucking be fun. Let's be crazy. Like let's take risks, calculate a risk. Let's do it. Fuck. That's what the fuck's life's about, man.
That's been a difficult challenge in the last couple of years. It's maintaining the cultural integrity of the company while balancing modern HR aspects because people don't necessarily understand how to take our language, at times. And it's also saying, hey, you know what? You're right. Maybe that's a little bit too aggressive. I can't necessarily do that. But it's one of those balancing acts where you can say, and I know that it's definitely professionally developed me, where I used to think, well, fuck them, it's our culture, let's go. But it's like, the company's bigger than us, right? So we have to be careful and empathetic to people that are in the company. And not just us, it's everybody, like you can't watch porn on your computer in the office. Like, and I'm not saying we do that, but like, we've had those issues with guys where they're like, dude, check this out. And it's like, dude, you can't do that in the office. What are you doing? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I just thought that was cool. No, it's not cool. Like, you can't actually play that in here, right? And I think that's one of the hardest but most valuable things that we've been able to accomplish in the last couple of years is maintaining cultural integrity while balancing the aspects of modern HR, which is counterintuitive to humanity. As far as I'm concerned, it's completely counterintuitive to humanity. Like it's like, so I can't ask that person a question? No, you can't ask that person a question whatsoever. It's like, what? Like, why can't I ask somebody how old they are? It seems like a relatively easy question. Like, dude, how old are you, bro? Like, how many times have you done that to guys on your team or in your past?
Yeah, the second you
and
meet
then
them.
it's like, you can't say that because, dude, you could be, age discrimination or whatever. It's oh my God, really? Yeah. I can't ask a person how old they are? No, can't.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's bizarre. It's counterintuitive to even common flow of communication and human communication that's been developed over thousands of years. And it's like, dude, how many times does somebody else ask somebody else how old they are or where they're from? Yeah. Not like country of origin, but like, hey, where are you from, man?
I know, right? You think of it like a even smaller perspective. Be like, hey, how many frags you got on you, Evan? You can't ask me that question.
Yeah.
No, but I'd like to know how many grenades you have.
Yeah.
So if you can tell me that.
Hey, dude, do you have any injuries I should be aware of? How many times you fucking like I've done it where I got a new dude on the team and it's like, hey man, do you have anything that we should be not concerned with, but be aware of where you're like, I have limitations when it comes to X, Y, and Z.
I shattered my ankle back in the day. Okay, you're not going to fast rope with the Gustav.
Yeah.
We're going to light load you on this one. Well, that's discriminatory. No, we just want you to be healthy and contribute to
your
your
ability.
mission.
We want to work with your ability.
Yeah. It's like,
well, yeah, go ahead.
No.
I was just going to say, like, also to look at our media presence now. We've got podcasts, we've got Coffee or Die, which is turning into like a new Vice, like almost a military Vice. You know? We've got the videos that we're running on Matt's channel and Black Rifle's channel and Drinking Bros. Like we have really expanded from where we were 2 years ago. Like,
hell yeah,
going, hey, what's our next coffee commercial?
Go for it, man. Never be content. Oh, you can be content, but never be satisfied. I guess that's the proper word. And I think that's something the team, not the whole team here at BRC, has done, where we have massive wins, but like, how do we do better, man? Like I would have refined this a little bit, and that's why I think the success has happened, is because everybody is immediately, just like the military, done an AR. I'm sure that the Bin Laden raid or the most successful fucking direct action combat shit that's ever happened, we always do AARs. You're like, Matt, you came in that door perfectly. You blew the ECT charge. We fucking roped these dudes up. But like, how do we do more better? And that's what's super important in business, at least to me. Like, you can always do better. You can never be satisfied with your performance. You can be content, but not satisfied.
Well, it's like,
it's gonna be
it's satisfaction at the same time. I think that 2019 will actually be defined,
a defining year,
by actually what brought us to the dance. Like, I think 2019 will be defined by...
We're going to bring it back.
Yeah,
it's going to be a big year, I think.
It's going to be a big year.
We said that every year. I mean, 18 was massive with the moves that we made. I mean, we moved... We grew a massive, we changed fulfillment centers, a multi-node fulfillment center. We created a new roasting plant. We moved our corporate headquarters while maintaining growth.
We moved ourselves.
And this is not braggadocious. It's actually really complimentary to the people that have had the utmost loyalty in the brand and continued support for us, because they're entrusting us with their money and they're voting for this company that they believe in. And we wear that every single day. I mean, it's a weight to bear, trust me, especially being, one of the faces. It's challenging every single day. You can't get away from it, but it's hyper rewarding, and we're really trying to do the right thing. And I think 19 will be one of those things where people go, holy fuck, they're gonna do it.
Holy fuck.
Holy fuck.
No, that's what it's gonna be. They're gonna be like, wait. Holy shit.
They're gonna fucking do it.
They actually are gonna do it.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, and I think it's gonna wake.
And I can't wait to tell some of the stories that have been on, like months, a year worth of just biz dev and treading through the fucking jungle with the machete, not knowing where you're going, but you're like, I'm gonna keep fucking walking because I might find the village. And when you can see the village, you're like, holy shit, we might have pulled off something of extraordinary proportion and stayed true to our word. Because, I mean, we'll always stay true to our word, but, some things don't work out. But fuck, man, it's exciting. Probably one of the most exciting times in our company.
That's like every month.
It'll be
True.
fun. It'll be fun.
19 will be like 20 is gonna be the
20's gonna be epic, motherfuckers. Yeah.
Yeah.
As we review our video of the hot air balloon hot tub. Like
Hot air balloon
we're
hot tub with
still not
minigun.
doing
still
that.
close. We're
Hot
close
air
to that.
balloon hot tub with minigun.
With
Like, there's
minigun.
got to be a
Like,
point
okay.
where we're like, we did it.
We did it.
So we did it, everybody.
Yeah.
We built a hot air balloon with a hot tub and a minigun on it.
And then when we
People are
shoot-
going to go, you
I
guys
just-
have really
I just
fucking
wanna
lost your mind. You're
float
done.
Past, a high-rise skyscraper in downtown Chicago with that, like, and someone just go, "Was there a zebra in that hot tub?"
That's why I love that Prius Vulcan. Like we broke every. It's my favorite quote of Arnold: "Break the rules, not the law." And we broke every marketing rule in the fucking world. And it was just like, let's mount a Vulcan on a Prius. Why? Because that will entertain our customers, and that will be a fucking
Biggest complaint I saw about that. They just wanted more footage of the fucking
I
Vulcan
know.
fire.
I wrote a comment on there. Someone was just like, "I want more real time." I was like, "Dude, it's $3,000 a second. Like,
Yeah.
we're ballers on a budget, dude."
Yeah.
Like,
That's why it's a Prius, homies. And we put it in the video where it's
We
like,
didn't
because
wanna
Raptors are
we
expensive.
didn't want to buy the Raptor. It's super expensive.
Plus,
We don't got Ken Black money yet.
the irony and just like saying, we put a minigun on a Prius.
Yeah, how many comments did you see?
Yeah,
This is the best use of a Prius I've ever
Yeah.
seen. Like, and even Toyota has reached out. You know,
Yeah.
they're like,
Hilarious.
"What did you do?"
Yeah, what did you idiots do? I always like that. That's my favorite response.
What
when
did you
people are like,
idiots
"Did
do?
you guys,
Idiots do.
What did you
Yeah.
idiots do now?" Like
We
that's
did
like
something epic, and we are idiots, or
Yeah.
we wouldn't be here right now.
yeah, there's a little bit of stupidity in this.
There's a lot of alcohol infusion.
That should be the new book. Success is stupidity. Like, it's the fucking truth.
It
Like,
is.
Successful
you can't
stupidity.
do that. We're like, nah, I'm definitely gonna hang onto a
do that. I'm
helicopter
gonna do
without
that.
safety lanyards and pull me out of a
that.
limousine.
God, we could have really fucked you up a few times.
Yeah, it's wonderful though. Well,
Speak of the devil to one of
hot Logan.
one of our
With his
finest and
fucking
first
pickle.
employees ever.
He's wearing a pickle.
is
Mr.
Logan Stark,
editor-in-chief
editor-in-chief.
Logan Stark.
Logan Stark.
What
got
is
a-
he editor in chief of?
Just the things. He doesn't have a microphone. It's okay.
Oh yeah, we're on.
He's on like all the nicotine gum over there, dude.
I got it all.
I mean, we're probably ready to close up here soon unless we have any closing statements. I really want to leave with, at least from my side, was I'm fucking thankful for everybody that's been on this journey with us. And we truly believe in that this is a team effort, and everybody that's participated and even just watching, sharing content to buying products that we put out. Thank you so fucking much. Like it is the most humbling thing of my life that I've been able to be in this position, and thank you. Like I can't say it enough. Like I get to work with my best friends and hopefully provide value in all of your lives, and hopefully fucking give you some epic opportunity down the road, which we will.
We will.
So that's all I got.
Yeah.
I'm drinking another beer and eat some nicotine gum.
Thank you for everybody that listens to Launch Code Podcast too, because I think, the more people that listen to it, the more people we can bring on, get great entrepreneurs, great business people that will create value and inspiration in your lives, whether you're trying to start a business, whether you're running one right now, or you just like to listen to us fucking run our
Dumb
mouths.
sucks.
Yeah. I think it is one of the greatest things about the company, and being able to, and I'll caveat this and end with it, is it's not the great things that we've done or been able to do. I think being able to make content at the rate that we make it that's a gift. Like the podcasts, the videos, like
Well, even
this
Launch
stuff is
Code,
fucking
we
amazing.
make $0 off of Launch
Yeah,
Code. This
zero.
is literally, it was a response to people, blowing up inboxes and asking us questions, and it was like, you can't respond to 1,000 DMs a day. It's impossible.
Right.
So this was our way of just hopefully putting out some information that would be beneficial to whomever is listening.
And a
So-
way to share the really cool people that we were getting to meet.
And selfishly,
Yeah.
getting some amazing people on here. I'm like, I'm at cross-leg on the fucking fireplace listening, like, tell me more about how you're smart. This is awesome.
Yeah, I think that's the coolest thing about this is being able to ask people that have more experience and or intelligence, which is a lot of people than us.
Most people, right?
And we can pick their brains because that's what I want to do, and it's fucking fantastic opportunity just to have a conversation with people.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Ladies
Jared,
and
you got
gentlemen.
anything?
No, it's
Okay.
it's just been it's been a great outlet. Launch Code has been fun, just as a change of pace from going, being able to show that we do have some expertise in this at some point, and we're not all
always
just
dick jokes,
the
right?
drinking bros comedians. Like, there is a science and a lot of strategy and planning that has gone behind closed doors. And I mean, just, reflecting on all those meetings that we've had in the last 2 years, from the time you and I set foot in Salt Lake on July 25th of 2016, and here we are now.
I just want to thank people again for going out and buying my book in 2019.
Yes, that book's going to be amazing. And also to everybody out there too, like if you've ever shared any of our content, you've directly attributed to what we have done here. So it's like, thank you. Thank you for liking our stuff.
Thank you.
Thank you for your feedback. Thank you for the messages on Instagram. I enjoy all of them. I got one last night. The guy just wrote a really nice thing, and he was like, anytime anybody says you're probably never going to see this, I just hit the video button. And so he answered. He was like, what?
Oh, shit, man. That's rad. That's good. Well, now everybody's going to do that. It's
yeah,
great.
I know. Oh, great.
Well, I hope you guys had an amazing Thanksgiving and have a more epic Christmas and holiday season, and we love you all. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks, man.
Launch Code.